Well, he's become the star of the show. I think I might retire. Yeah, he can take it over. This is the Doc. He's going way out there today to talk about soil microbes, space, and poor soils. Huey, good morning to you. I just put on my helmet.
Yeah, hi, Graham. I haven't lost the plot. A few people may think I have, but if you bear with me, you'll see that's not the case. It revolves all around this idea that one day we have to grow food on places like the Moon and Mars, and scientists have been experimenting for a number of years with simulated Moon and Martian soil. And what they found was really variable. Some claim that you can germinate seeds, but no real growth. Others claim you can grow things for maybe up to 2 months. So we see germination that happens even in the porous soil because all the nutrients and the energy really comes from the seed itself. So you don't need soil in most cases. So germination, unless the soil is really toxic, isn't the issue. So also a lot of the plants that scientists have played around with try to grow are not food crops. They're really more like the hardy weeds, which probably isn't going to give you a great diet if you're living on the Moon or Mars. So the problem we know is that the soil off-planet are nutrient poor to start with, and what is there tends to be locked up. And, of course, there's no biological activity.
No, I'm not very fussed about eating oxalis or onion weeds. So, okay, now I see where you're heading. Inoculating maybe Martian and Moon soils with soil bacteria and fungi maybe.
Yeah, well, considering the cost of sending something like fertilizer into space, instead we need to unlock the nutrients present in these soils. So we know that microbes can help liberate nutrients such as phosphate, potassium, and even fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. And there's also the potential for microbes to make other nutrients available for plants, things like calcium and iron. So if you only need to bring micronutrients into space, that would be a huge saving. And microbes can be brought in a freeze-dried format. That way they weigh almost nothing. And freeze-drying is actually something we do at Nutrab with some of our products. So technically it's actually quite easy to do. So these researchers have played around with that concept, and what they've seen is some positive results. There's definitely a future for Earth microbes in other places. So some issues still need to be resolved, obviously, such as microbes, which ones are the best, how to avoid contaminating places like the Moon and Mars. But we're probably going to do that anyway, just from the microbes on our bodies.
Yeah, well, I know they've been growing plants, or germinating seeds and things in space for a long, long time. So how does this link with gardeners and agriculture back here on Mother Earth, Huey?
Well, what I find interesting is twofold. One is that NASA and scientists are actually interested in soil microbes. That's a big positive. But these experiments on replicating these Moon and Mars soils, what they're showing is that even the poorest soil can be brought back if given the right environment. So, if you give poor soils some organic material, then inoculate them with beneficial microbes, this will help in your gardens. If you have a sandy area or an area that's been badly leached for one reason or another. So if you dig in hoo-flung dung or other composted material, inoculate with, say, go-go juice or populate, that will bring that soil back to life. So I really believe that the future of soil health lies with biology and not necessarily with more chemicals.
That's exactly... You must have been listening to my talk in Coffs Harbour yesterday, because that's exactly what I said.
I have my spies everywhere.
Yeah. That was my comment. And one of the questions I had was about, the 1960s, 70s, even 80s fertilizers compared to the 21st century. And I said, well, they were chemical fertilizers compared to the organically based ones of the 21st century. Well, today's chat was different, that's for sure. The underlying message is if you have a patch that's underperforming, maybe dig in some hoo-flung dung, water it with go-go juice or populate, and you're likely to significantly improve the area of your garden, whether it's your veggie patch or whether you want to grow some flowers or bulbs or whatever. Hoo-flung dung, go-go juice, of course, and populate are available at Bunnings, other hardware outlets, and my mates at the independent garden centres. A brilliant, good story. Well, I can take my helmet off because we're actually going to stay here after all.
Yeah, you got plenty of air. You'll be fine. It's not a problem.
Okay, well, I'll stay here after all. Good on you, Huey. A good story. Interesting.
Cheers, Graham. Have a fantastic week.
You too, pal. All the best here. Yeah, Doctor. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. Well, it's true, and they've been talking about it for a long time. Look, a lot more stuff's happening in the space station, let me tell you, than what we hear about. But, of course, the research that's happening up there is actually benefiting us down here already, if you understand what I mean. Gary's looking at me like I've got three heads. No, you understand? Yeah, no, Gary. No, I think I'm right. Here on the Garden Clinic, it's coming up to